Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the still tentatively named Journeys Abroad. I'm William Moore from SASAB, and I'm joined here by Grace, who went to the Santiago and the Vienna programs from William and Mary, so two programs, not just one like our other individuals who have thus far spoken. I'm going to give her the opportunity to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Grace Westcott, like William said, and I'm really excited to share my study abroad experiences with you today. And also to add on to that, I have also recently committed to doing a third William and Mary study abroad program in Oman for the winter. So I'm very, very excited about study abroad and the opportunity to talk about it.
So a bit of a globetrotter we have today. All right, so describe a bit for these programs for the people who are listening. What did you learn? Kind of what was the structure of the program? What did you do?
Yeah, so the first program that I did was the Santiago de Compostela program in Spain. And that one was, I was exploring different study abroad opportunities, wasn't entirely sure that I even wanted to go abroad at all. But that program was led by a professor that I took a freshman seminar with in the Hispanic Studies department, and I really liked him as a professor and identified with a lot of his core beliefs and values, and so I just signed up for the program because I thought that he would be a great mentor, and I wanted to spend more time learning under him. But that program ended up being one of the most influential experiences, I'd say, that I got to pursue in college. It entails walking 200 miles of the Camino de Santiago, which is a pilgrimage in Spain that runs through northern Spain. And I didn't really have any hiking experience, didn't really know what I was getting myself into going into that. But it was a wonderful opportunity to get outside of my comfort zone, to talk to people in English and Spanish with my very limited Spanish-speaking skills, and to just connect with William and Mary students, but also other pilgrims from around the world.
And the Vienna program? Oh,
yes, sorry.
It's fine.
The Vienna program, all of my study abroad experiences have been kind of me just diving in and not feeling totally sure about doing them, but just saying yes anyways. And I've been so glad that I have every time. The Vienna program was another instance of that, where I was hesitant about being gone for a whole semester in a different country. But the Vienna program was also one of the most meaningful experiences of my college experience. Getting to live in a country where I didn't speak any of the language, any German, and being able to travel so much, do a lot of solo traveling, and also to meet other exchange students from around the world at my university in Vienna was really impactful.
Very cool. So can you describe a little bit, obviously these two programs are extremely different from one another. Can you describe a bit of the academic rigor in comparison to one another? Because Santiago sounds like, it's a very different academic experience than, say, an official learning in a foreign country. Yeah,
the two, I would say, were very different, particularly academically. In the Santiago program, we took classes on, one was about happiness, very broadly, and the other was an art class. And so for the quote-unquote happiness class, it was about why people decide to pursue going on a pilgrimage, either for religious or spiritual, or just some people just really like to walk long distances. And so for that happiness class, it was sort of like we had to interview other pilgrims that we just went up to and talked to on the trail about what their motivations were behind going on a pilgrimage, and what they were hoping to get out of the experience. And then each night we also had to journal our own thoughts. And then so it was a bit of a more informal academic experience. But at the end of the summer, we had to compose a long paper, basically just about what we learned through the experience. And so mine was about 15 pages just of all the lessons I took away from it. And even though it was a less traditional academic experience, I think that paper is one of the products of my entire college experience that I've been the most proud of, because it was really reflective and allowed me to just take an experience and put into words what it meant to me. And then the art class was also a really interesting experience, because I am not an artist whatsoever. I had never taken an art class before, and so along the trail we would walk for about 7 to 8 hours every day, and then at the end of the day, we were all pretty tired, but we would have to choose items to sketch in our sketchbooks to turn in at the end of the summer, and learned like basic drawing principles. And so that was also a good way to be reflective on the Camino and to take in our surroundings and try and pick out specific details of Spanish culture that we could draw. And so that was also a good experience. I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily I would say that I'm a better artist, still not a good artist, but a better artist as a result of that class. And then, so yeah, in contrast with all of that and the Vienna program I took for just regular business classes. But the great thing about having that sort of structure was that I was able to interact with so many different exchange students from around the world within those classes. So, for instance, I took one class on international marketing, and so being able to take a class like that has the word international in a different country was really beneficial, I think, to my overall business learning experience. And we worked in lots of group projects. I had one group for international marketing where everyone in my group was from a different country, and a lot of people, English was their second language. And so being able to work with lots of different students and lots of different perspectives and backgrounds made our project on international marketing just more significant and more it allowed for a lot of different perspectives to be represented.
So it sounds like with the Spain program particularly, you had quite literally the opportunity to go out into the world, so to speak. And to some extent with the Vienna program, can you perhaps elaborate a bit on the difference that you had in interactions with the locals in different communities between the two different programs?
Yeah, so the Spain program, with both programs, it was a lot of interaction with people from other countries outside of Spain and Austria, which was something that I wasn't necessarily expecting going into it. But because the pilgrimage entails so many people from around the world coming to Spain to walk, and because the Vienna program involved so many other exchange students being in my classes, that it was a lot more a variety of international perspectives than necessarily just Spain and Austria. But in the moments that I did interact with individuals from Spain and individuals from Austria, with Spain, I would say it was in like the restaurants and the cafes and the hostels that we stayed at. And the main takeaway I got from that was just the overwhelming hospitality and support of Spaniards in relation to the pilgrimage. Like sometimes the pilgrimage runs through their hometowns or their communities, and so they have to be, or they don't have to be, but they are accepting of so many foreigners coming through their communities, and the offerings, the way that they offer the food and the language to outsiders was really encouraging and welcoming. And then in terms of Austria, while most of my classes were with international exchange students, there were some Austrians in my classes whose first language was German, but they also wanted to keep taking classes in English, and so therefore they sometimes got lumped in with the other exchange student classes. And that was a really great experience too, just getting to learn more about Austrian culture from people my own age, and to also see like their relationship with international students. And another example of a time that I interacted with that culture specifically is I joined a chorus group of Austrian singers who also wanted to practice their English, so we sang all songs in English, which was helpful for me as a non-German speaker. But yeah, it was just a great way to keep interacting with other Austrians who were my age, who we all shared a common interest of singing.
So would you say overall you recommend studying abroad?
I would say I recommend it very much. I'm really excited to embark on my Oman program in the winter. It's just a completely new culture that I'm learning about through our pre-departure class right now, but it's like a part of the world and a culture that I've never really studied or been exposed to before. And so I certainly think it'll be different than my other two study abroad experiences, but I'm nonetheless still very excited for it.
Very cool. Well, that sounds like a ringing endorsement to me, and I want to say thank you to everybody who decided to listen. This has been William and Grace, and this has been run by SASAB, sponsored by the Reeves Center from William and Mary. We hope you'll continue to listen to more and consider studying abroad. Thanks for listening. These podcasts are based on students' individual experiences. The statements and opinions expressed in the podcasts and subsequent comments do not represent the official position or policy of the College of William and Mary. In the spirit of community and conversation, comments are allowed and are encouraged. However, the college reserves the right to remove any comments deemed inappropriate, offensive, or not on topic.